High conflict divorces, it's war, but there are rules. In Arizona, when we're talking about high conflict divorces, there are several things that we could be looking at. We could be looking at parties that just cannot get along. We could be looking at children who have grown apart from one of the parents and need to be reunified with the parents. We can be looking at parents who have really severe parental fitness issues that impair their ability to act as parents for the children. We could be looking at cases where you have parties living in multiple states. There are multiple things that would classify a case as a high conflict divorce in Arizona. High conflict cases can be really difficult to handle on your own, and we recommend having an experienced attorney there to guide you through every step of that process. Facing false accusations from your ex-spouse. If you've been accused of false accusations, it's really important that you refrain from doing what frankly, most people do, which is reaching out to the ex-spouse, exploding, going to social media, posting things negatively about them online. All of these things are going to be giving that ex-spouse the reaction that they're looking for. Rather than doing that, stay calm, make sure that you get your evidence in a row, get the things in order to make sure that you can refute the evidence against you, and so that we can prove that these are just false allegations and that the other side is just making things up to try to smear your name. How do you stay sane when your ex thrives on drama? That can be a really difficult part of a divorce. Going through this process is difficult when you're not dealing with an ex-spouse that really thrives around complicating things, fabricating stories, making things more difficult. Especially when you have children with that person, that can be particularly difficult. In order to keep your mental sanity during that process, we recommend, one, trying to keep your emotions out of your decision-making. Prolonging this process by allowing your emotions to dictate what you're going to do and how you're going to make decisions can just make things more drawn out and can just make this a worse process for you. The second thing that I recommend doing to make sure that you're keeping your emotions in order is talk to someone. If you need to get a therapist, talk to a therapist. If you need to talk to your friends or family members, make sure that you talk to them. A divorce process is difficult, and isolating yourself and trying to go through it all on your own can be an extremely difficult burden for you to take on. Would you rather take the high road or fight every battle? Going through a divorce can be difficult, and knowing when you should give up or when you should fight for what you believe you're entitled to can be a really fine line that's really difficult to walk. When you're going through a divorce, finality is potentially one of the most valuable things throughout the process. Being done with that case and being able to move on with your life and see what the grass looks like on the other side can be a really valuable part of it. But of course, you're going through a big separation, right? You've been with this person for a long time. You guys have established a lot of assets and debts, and you want to make sure that you're appropriately taken care of in that dissolution to make sure that you're able to make a seamless transition into the next part of your life. So it's really important that you have guidance through that process and that you know what you're entitled to, so that you know where you should bend and where you should fight and where maybe you should bend a little bit, because it might be worth giving up some of what you're entitled to get to that point of finality more quickly. A great example that I can give of a situation where it might make more sense for you to bend in dissolution proceedings would be a situation where you're arguing over a small amount of money. If you're paying your attorney to go back and forth with the other side and you're arguing over a few $100s, of course, your attorney's fees are starting to rack up, and at points you may end up spending more for your attorneys to argue over those things than it would cost for you to just give in and give it to the other side. Finality is very valuable in a dissolution process, and if you can get to that point more quickly by bending on a simple issue like a small financial issue, we highly recommend taking that step, because it can allow you to get to the point of moving on with life and going to that next chapter in your life. Dealing with a high conflict divorce in Arizona, give us a call. We'd love to chat about it and see how we can help.